In front of or behind the camera, these former child stars weathered abusive situations that in some cases were far worse than any Hollywood dramatization. When 1978's Pretty Baby was released, there was no way to avoid controversy. A 12-year-old Brooke Shields stars as a child sex worker in 1917 New Orleans, and it features a scene in which her character kisses an adult man, played by Keith Carradine. Accusations that Pretty Baby was exploitative or even pornographic only served to stoke public interest. Shields was catapulted into the spotlight.
I became a focal point for so many things, good and bad.
Despite all the fuss, Shields didn't think it was a big deal. She appreciated that Carradine took great care to make sure she wasn't uncomfortable during their scenes, and her mother helped to not let disparaging comments get to her. Looking back, Shields has said that she felt safe while filming Pretty Baby. It was the subsequent sex symbol status that was far more damaging to her psyche. Macaulay Culkin didn't exactly have an easy childhood. He's described his father and former manager Kit as being abusive, and made claims that Kit, a former child actor himself, may have been jealous of his success. When Culkin was 16, his parents split, and he had both of their names legally removed from his trust fund so that they could no longer control his finances. Culkin's adult years have been more well-adjusted, though he has experienced some bumps along the way. He was arrested for drug possession in 2004, and when Michael Jackson was on trial for child molestation charges, Culkin testified in his defense.
He's a good friend of mine, and he still is. I mean, everything that's going on, it's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate situation for everyone involved.
These days, Culkin is happy to live mostly out of the spotlight. He got together with his fiancée, Brenda Song, in 2017. The couple now share 2 kids together. Franco Zeffirelli's 1968 adaptation of Romeo and Juliet has something that would never be filmed today: a nude scene involving 15-year-old Olivia Hussey and 16-year-old Leonard Whiting, both minors.
He wanted characters that were close to the ages of the way Shakespeare wrote them. That hadn't been done before.
After Zeffirelli's death in 2019, Hussey and Whiting filed a lawsuit claiming that the director exploited them and caused them emotional distress. The director reportedly misled the teenage actors into filming the scene by telling them that they would be wearing flesh-colored undergarments. He later went back on that promise and asked them to strip down and wear only body makeup. He also allegedly claimed that the camera would be placed at an angle so that viewers wouldn't be able to see any nudity, except that Hussey's breasts and Whiting's rear end are visible in the final cut. Zeffirelli's defenders have claimed that both Hussey and Whiting only became famous thanks to the film. His son accused them of enjoying successful careers for decades before voicing their concerns. Hussey, who passed away in 2024, pointed out that she and Whiting were only paid about $2,200 for a movie that made $38 million at the box office, and that their careers didn't go very far after Romeo and Juliet. A few months before she died, she told Variety, "It wasn't something I ever agreed to do. I just did it because I felt like I couldn't say no." The 1979 Woody Allen film Manhattan is about a romance between a 42-year-old man, played by Allen, and his 17-year-old student, played by a 16-year-old Mariel Hemingway. The film enjoyed mostly positive reviews at the time of its release, but many critics have since taken it to task for romanticizing such an inappropriate relationship. In light of the knowledge that Allen married a woman 35 years his junior, along with the childhood sexual assault allegations levied against him by his adoptive daughter, Dylan Farrow, the dynamic of these 2 characters from Manhattan takes on a whole new meaning. Hemingway has said that she sensed Allen was infatuated with her, but she brushed it aside because she thought it was normal. More disconcerting, though, was the fact that he visited her home after the release of the movie and invited her on a trip to Paris. As she recounted in her memoir, Out Came the Sun, she began to suspect that Allen intended for the 2 of them to sleep together on that trip, something her parents seemed to have no problem with. Hemingway confronted Allen, and he canceled the Paris trip.
I didn't want to go off and play Barbies. I wanted to go out to a club and dance.
Drew Barrymore had quite the tumultuous childhood after E.T. made her a star at a very young age. Her mother Jade let her skip school and go to parties, and by the time she was 14, she had already used cocaine, stolen her mom's credit card, and attempted suicide. Unsure what else to do, Jade admitted her daughter to a psychiatric ward. Barrymore said she hated her time in the institution, but ultimately came to appreciate it, telling The Guardian in 2015, "Maybe it was necessary because I came out of there a more respecting person." At 14, Barrymore emancipated herself from her mother, but she wasn't exactly prepared to survive on her own. Her bankability as an actor had dried up, and she found herself washing dishes and scrubbing toilets. When she was 19, she agreed to pose nude for Playboy. It was a decision she later regretted. For a time, it looked like she would disappear into addiction and infamy. But then she pulled her life together and emerged anew on the other side. Looking back, Barrymore has conflicting feelings about her mother. For a time, she insisted that it was better that Jade was no longer in her life. Barrymore did eventually get back in touch with her and forgave her for some things, although she's hinted that there's still some unresolved trauma in need of unpacking.
It's like I don't want to paint her negatively. I don't want people to think of her negatively.
Yes.
But the truth is tough stuff.
Lindsay Lohan started modeling at the age of 3 and starred in her first movie, The Parent Trap, when she was 12. In retrospect, beginning her career so young may not have been the best for her. She told Bustle in 2024, "They teach you to say yes to everything, and that's not really what life's all about." Lohan's struggles have been well documented. She was arrested multiple times on DUI charges and had several stints in rehab. Soon enough, her reputation was torpedoing her acting career. The invasive press coverage became so aggressive that she moved to Dubai in 2014 in an effort to stay out of the public eye. But then in 2018, a bizarre moment played out when Lohan posted a video on Instagram of herself trying to help a family that she identified as Syrian refugees. She offered to let them stay at a hotel and watch a movie, but when they declined her offer, the situation turned hostile, and Lohan accused the mother of not taking care of her children properly. After a few minutes, the family packed up and left.
And I'm just so scared.
Lohan deleted the video, but the incident sparked rumors of a relapse. Fortunately, the star has since been on the comeback trail in recent years. She's been landing work with Netflix and even appears to be more comfortable in the public eye. Christina Ricci has emerged as a well-adjusted adult since her days of child stardom, but not without some struggles along the way. As a teenager, she turned to drugs and alcohol as a coping mechanism. As a child, she suffered abuse at the hands of her father, and Hollywood was a much-needed escape from her problems at home.
I put my booze in my Diet Coke can. I put it in a coffee cup. And I would say to my assistant, "Can I have a warming Diet Coke, please?"
During her teenage years, Ricci developed a reputation for making provocative statements during interviews like, "I'm not afraid to die."
Oh, Wednesday's at that very special age when a girl has only one thing on her mind. Boys.
Homicide.
In a 1999 interview with Rolling Stone, Ricci mentioned that she enjoyed reading the novel Les Enfants Terribles, which involves incest between two siblings. When a reporter asked her if she liked incest, she said she sarcastically replied, "Yeah, it's amazing and really natural, and everyone should have sex with their siblings." Ricci even showed off burn marks on her arm that she'd given herself with a cigarette, saying that she'd done it to impress a co-star. She later claimed that these were just jokes, her teenage self posturing for attention. As she explained to The Scotsman in 2012, "You say things you shouldn't, and you learn not to do it anymore." In 2007, a 12-year-old Dakota Fanning played a young girl who experiences sexual assault in the film Hounddog. The scene itself doesn't feature any nudity, she was fully clothed when she shot it, and instead shows just a close-up of Fanning's face. But that didn't stop people from accusing the filmmakers of exploiting a child, and the controversy surrounding the scene wound up overshadowing the movie itself. Some religious groups even started petitions to jail Fanning's mother and prosecute the filmmakers under a law banning the sexual exploitation of a minor. Fanning, however, believed that these accusations were outrageous. She told Today, "It's not a rape movie. That's not even the point of the film." She emphasized to The Telegraph that there was more to her character than the assault and said, "I wanted to do the film because I thought it might help one person that this has happened to overcome adversity in their lives." Corey Feldman gained fame as a child star in 80s movies like The Goonies and Stand By Me, but he's perhaps now even more famous as a survivor of sexual abuse. Feldman has claimed that both he and another former child star, the late Corey Haim, were assaulted by numerous people in Hollywood. He has also criticized the entire industry for its lack of protections for child stars, and has called for changing the statute of limitations for survivors of childhood sexual abuse to give them an opportunity to pursue justice. Feldman was close friends with Michael Jackson and has defended the singer in the wake of his own abuse allegations, which may have damaged his image as a crusader for fellow survivors. Feldman later clarified in an interview with HLN that he wasn't challenging the allegations, but was merely shocked to hear the news.
It becomes impossible for me to stay virtuous and not at least consider what's being said.
Ultimately, Feldman concluded that he could no longer defend Jackson, telling CNN in 2019, "As a survivor and someone who has been fighting for this to become a focal topic of our society for decades, I applaud all victims for letting their voices be heard, and I encourage the public debate to continue." The Wizard of Oz is one of the most beloved movies of all time, but it came at a great cost for its star Judy Garland. To stay alert throughout her long workdays, she was given so-called pep pills by both studio executives and her own mother. At times, Garland worked for 72 hours straight and got only 4 hours of sleep. She was also repeatedly body-shamed. MGM head Louis B. Mayer called her "my little hunchback." The studio rigidly enforced Garland's diet both on and off the set, with Mayer reportedly hiring people to make sure she was eating only what the studio instructed her to eat. Worst of all, she was allegedly sexually assaulted by multiple men on set. Garland was left to deal with the fallout of this mistreatment for the rest of her life. The pep pills planted the seeds for an addiction that would haunt her until the end. The rest of her personal life didn't fare much better. She had 4 divorces and made multiple suicide attempts. In the public eye, she couldn't live up to the role that had made her famous. In what would turn out to be her final live performance before her death, she slurred her words and the audience heckled her. She died less than a year later in June 1969 at the age of 47 from a barbiturate overdose. If you or anyone you know has been a victim of sexual assault or may be the victim of child abuse, contact the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network website or contact RAIN's National Helpline at 1-800-656-HOPE-4673.